Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome, everybody, into the Overreaction Buffalo Sports Show on the Overreaction Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. So good to have every single one of you joining me. My name is Joe Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. Please do me a favor. Please like, please subscribe. Whatever platform you are consuming this presentation on right now, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If there's an opportunity to hit a notifications button, hit that. If you can leave a review or a comment, do that as well. Let's see. We've got a website, overreactionbuffalo.com. That's got some really cool features that I don't think anybody else yet has. We've also got a Discord channel, which may or may not be in the notes of this podcast. Regardless, there's a lot of ways to connect and communicate with us, but it is so good to have every single one of you joining us again. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Excited to be joining you solo, by myself, all alone for this episode of the Overreaction Postgame Show. Or I should say sports show. Excuse me. The 4-2 Buffalo Bills have completed their bye week and are now set to get back to work this week as they prepare to travel to North Carolina and face the 4-3 Panthers. I had to check that stat. The Panthers are 4-3, who have not only beaten the Atlanta Falcons, who the Buffalo Bills just lost to, but they're also on a 3-game win streak after embarrassing the Jets on Sunday. The good news is the Buffalo Bills under Sean McDermott have never lost a game coming out of the bye. So after dropping back-to-back games, one could say the bye week came at just the right time for the Buffalo Bills. We shall see. But there are questions surrounding our football team, Bills Mafia. Lots and lots of questions. And I'm not sure there are enough answers to address them all. We're going to obviously find out. And while I've got a decent outline here and I've got a bunch of information I want to talk about, I've got a lot of questions and I've got a lot of topics and I've got a lot of seams and I've got a lot of stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have a lot of answers, but I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. And oddly enough, I'm going to ask you the same question a lot of times. I'm not going to determine the outcome of where your mindset is. Right now, Bills Mafia is wildly split on social media between, there's actually many factions, but there's the longtime fire Sean McDermott people. There's the new fire Sean McDermott people. There's the people that love Sean McDermott. I'm one of those people that are concerned about the season. There's people that hate where this team is at. And then there's the people that hold on to hope. And anytime you've got Josh Allen, you've absolutely got a chance, and they're not necessarily wrong. Anytime you've got a player at the caliber of Josh Allen, you are always in a game, should always be at least in the first quarter in a game. We'll talk about that. After last week's disappointing loss to Atlanta, I pinned a tweet to my timeline titled, "The 4-2 Buffalo Bills bye week assessment" from me. A lot of people commented on it. Largely got mostly support on it because I think a lot of the overly positive people log off of social media and the overly negative people tend to stay on social media after a Bills loss. I'm not saying that I'm overly negative, despite being accused of being negative amongst my two colleagues, John Fina and Jerry Ostrowski, who, they try to, they've lived it. They've been in the locker room. They've been in pads and jerseys. They've done this for a living. They know that things are never necessarily as bad as we, the fans, seem to feel it is. There's also an aspect of respect that they have for players and organizations and things like that we as fans don't always share. And then sometimes I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate. It's no fun if all three of us come on shows and we agree all the time. So there are times that even if I agree with them completely, I will ask an opposing question. Not to get a rise out of either of them, although sometimes I do get them a little bit. But more or less just to be the person that's the dissenting voice. I feel like there needs to be in a dialogue a dissenting voice. If we're all rowing in the canoe in the same direction and it's going to hell, that's no fun, right? Even if we're all rowing in the same direction and it's going to the Super Bowl, sometimes that can be no fun. My 4-2 Buffalo Bills bye week assessment from yours truly. Again, you don't have to agree with this. It's just basically high-level emotions from me, from what we have watched from this Buffalo Bills team so far this season. So this is not an encapsulated thought or feeling from the Atlanta Falcons game. It's not an encapsulated thought or feeling from the Patriots loss. And it's not an encapsulated or feeling from any one of the individual 4 wins that we stacked at the beginning of the season. Thank God we won that Ravens game at this point. It's more or less just how I feel about all 6 games. My assessment going into the bye. Number 1, on off. I'm going to do offense first, then I'm going to do defense. And you can verify this. You can go to Twitter and check it out, X, Joe Miller Wired. And you can comment it and you can say good things, bad things. You can retweet it. You can smash me. You can slam me. You can celebrate it. Whatever you want to do. I don't care. It is what it is. Number 1, offense. I've got 8 things offense, 8 things defense. I'll try to get through them quick. James Cook is the second best player on your football team. Leave him on the football field. Coupled with that, and I didn't put this in that tweet, but I've added it to my notes, Josh Allen is the best player on your football team. Far too often are we in a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6, 3rd and whatever, and we need a play. And this coaching staff takes the ball out of Josh Allen's hands and James Cook's hands. In fact, James Cook isn't even on the football field. When you need a play, when you've got to have a play, why would you not keep the ball in your best player's hand or put it in your second best player's hand? Number 2, Elijah Moore, and there's no rhyme or reason to these. This was literally off the cuff as I was in Mexico sitting on a bench with a margarita in my feelings on Tuesday after that football game. Elijah Moore didn't have QB issues in New York and Cleveland. Elijah Moore was the issue. I think we can pretty much nail that one down. Number 3, Josh Palmer is exactly who I thought he was. If you need context, if you're new to the show, if you've not been necessarily paying attention, big celebrations about the Josh Palmer signing. Big celebrations and what's the word? Doubling down from Brandon Beane on WGR 55 with Jeremy White about that signing. Meanwhile, some guys like me had opposite takes. Josh Palmer was basically invisible in LA. Well, yeah, Joe, but he was buried behind Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Well, what about last year when Keenan Allen and Mike Williams weren't there and he was buried at that point behind Ladd McConkey? Like I have seen nothing. He's got skill, he's got talent. Elijah Moore has skill and talent. All of every wide receiver in the NFL has skill and talent. But Josh Palmer, to me, is exactly who I thought he was at this point. Doesn't mean it can't change. Last year at this time, I was very down on Mac Hollins. Then the Bills made a move, went and got Amari Cooper. And then all of a sudden, Mac Hollins came to life. I could be wrong. This take could be wrong. In fact, all of my takes could always be wrong. And I'm not ashamed or afraid to admit when I'm wrong. Unlike, well, I'm not going to say that. Nobody on this network. There's just people out there that never would be caught dead admitting they were wrong about something. I seem to do that a lot. Probably because I talk a lot. Dalton Kincaid, number 4. Dalton Kincaid is great. He may be made of glass. People didn't like that one. Number 5, this is the most uninspired offensive play we've seen since Tyrod Taylor, who actually coincidentally played on Sunday for the Jets because they benched Justin Fields. All that I meant by that was there was just no inspiration when Tyrod Taylor was the quarterback of this team. There was no energy. There was no urgency. There was no vibe. Tyrod Taylor was is still an amazingly gifted NFL athlete, NFL quarterback. He had before Josh Allen, he had some of the craziest runs we ever saw from a Buffalo Bills quarterback. But by and large, he was just uninspiring. The offense just didn't have any pizzazz. It had no energy. It had no life. Number 6, the offensive line and Josh are getting fooled too easy with their blocking checks. Josh has been sacked. I think you've already been told or heard already this season more times than he was all of last season. Number 7, Joe Brady is a problem. Fixable? Maybe. Number 8, the wide receivers on this football team are a problem. Fixable? I doubt it. We'll get into that a little more in a couple minutes. Those were my 8. Those were my 8 bye week assessments for the offense. Now for the defense. Deanne Walker is the best draft pick of this class, maybe the last two classes. Dalton Cade's on this football team, but you could almost go 3. He's 1B right now with Dalton from 3 classes ago. Number 2, can we hire a tackling coordinator? What is it about Sean McDermott defenses that just have a problem tackling? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. He's a wrestler. He's a physical dude. He played football. Like this is his makeup. This is who he is. Bobby Babich walks around and talks like a mean mofo. And they've got a defense that can't tackle people. They're like last in the NFL. I can't remember what the stat was. I saw it earlier this week. There's a stat that was out that somebody was rolling around on social media about the Bills being like the worst team after contact on defense, stopping running backs. After you make contact with the running back, they're the worst team for yards after contact after that. Like they literally are the worst team in the NFL. Number 3, paid a lot of money in draft picks for the inability to be consistently effective on defense. The funny part about that comment and this defensive kind of assessment is the defense wasn't really the reason we lost that Atlanta Falcons game. They actually made some adjustments and buckled up and made a big difference. The offense just very much let them down. Number 4, the defense cannot hide any mistakes. And for me, that's more about all of the hate that Tre'Davious White gets. You're talking about a defense. You're talking about a scheme. You're talking about a plan. You're talking about an identity that for years hid the likes of Levi Wallace, hid the likes of Dane Jackson, hid guys on this team, on this defense, because the other parts of the defense were so good, namely the safeties. You know their names, Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. And at one time, Tre'Davious White, along with the defensive line and linebackers and all that stuff. Now this defense is in such a spot that it can't really make up for a weakness on the defense because there's a lot of weaknesses. The defense can't hide any mistakes. Number 5, there's no pass rush. I know pressure rates, yada, yada, yada. Guys just don't get home. And the Sean McDermott era has been filled with, and it sounds like a lot of like Sean McDermott downness. And I'm not down on Sean, but you've got to realize that like at some point in time, this is what it is. This is a defense that in his time here has always had good pressure rates and never got home. We've been talking about it for years. Absolute years. We've been talking about it. Number 6, no interceptions. Where are the interceptions? Number 7, everybody is constantly hurt. Number 8, and this is the unfortunate part, this defense right now, this defense is easily beatable. And they're trying to do something they have not done since I don't know when. I don't remember what the defense was in 2017 when Sean first got here. I don't remember if they were playing a base 4-3 back then or if they were in a nickel 4-2 even then. But this team is clearly having, it seems, difficulties adjusting to being in a 4-3 a greater percentage of the time and going back and forth. That or guys are just getting old or guys just aren't, I don't know what the word is. Well, we know they're not in their fits. They've been talking about it for weeks. So with that assessment and all that stuff, I'm going to ask you the first question, which is the title of this show, which I'm going to ask you about 17 more times. Are the Bills in trouble? That's the question. And I'm not going to tell you they're in trouble. I don't want to sit here and be negative. But are they in trouble? From what you've watched, am I on point? Am I not on point with some of my assessments? And I don't have to be completely, in your opinion, on point. But is the amount of questions we have at this point of the season with the bye, coming off a 2-game loss, 2 in a row, back-to-back, which we had last year in an awful fashion with the Ravens and the Texans, does this feel different than that felt? Because it does to me. So are the Bills in trouble? That's the question I want you to mull in your very intelligent brain. before we get into the rest of this, I want to talk real quick as I got to noodle around and find all my graphics properly. There we go. Got to give some love to the sponsor, Anchor Bar, ladies and gentlemen. The home of the original Buffalo Chicken Wing is the place to watch the Buffalo Bills and all of your favorite sports teams. Go to anchorbar.com to see all the locations around the country and for info on ordering online. Anchor Bar, the original Buffalo wings are fresh, never frozen, jumbo high-quality wings. Our wings are deep fried and sauced to your liking with over 24 varieties of sauces and dry rubs to choose from. In addition to their famous original Buffalo wings, all Anchor Bar locations have a wide variety of menu choices, such as appetizers, boneless wings, which are not real chicken wings, chicken tenders, pizza, beef on weck. I mean, it's real chicken. They're just people that call boneless wings, or anyway. Fresh burgers, sandwiches, salads, and wraps. Currently, Anchor Bar has 16 locations with 3 new locations opening up this fall. Tucson, Arizona, where you will find John Fina for the grand opening. Frisco, Texas, and Raleigh, North Carolina. Much love to the Anchor Bar men and women over there. We love those guys. Thank you so much for your support, being a part of the Overreaction team. We love here at Overreaction supporting Buffalo brands. It's kind of like it's where we want to be. I'm sure at some point we might land a national brand, but for all intents and purposes, well, we have FanDuel, but we didn't go get FanDuel. FanDuel was brought to us by Believe. Getting back to the topic. Are the Bills in trouble? How am I doing on time? I'm doing good. Are the Bills in trouble? That's the question that I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to ask you to answer it. I just want you to realistically think about it. Again, I'm not doing gloom. I'm not going to tell you, as I said, that the Bills are in trouble. Why? Because I can't predict the future. I am, however, going to continue to bring up some topics and bring up some points and then ask you again if the Bills are, in fact, in trouble. So let's go a little bit deeper. Let's look at the divisional standings right now as after week 7 has been put into the books. The division, AFC East division that the Buffalo Bills are in. They had a commanding, firm, stone-solid grip on the AFC East. It looked like they were going to run away with it after week 4 at 4-0. And now after week 7 and their bye week, sit in second place, a game and a half behind the New England Patriots that won on Sunday. The Patriots are 5-2 and look like a team on the rise, on the come. The Buffalo Bills are 4-2. So they're down a game. They also lose the head-to-head tiebreaker, which makes them a game and a half behind the Patriots. So even if the Bills tie them in record at some point in time, if they're tied, they're still a half game out. What's concerning about this situation is the fact that the Patriots have the easiest schedule going forward. It's like the consensus. Everybody knows it. The Patriots have the easiest schedule. Now, the Dolphins are, I don't even know, a sneeze away from firing their head coach, and the Jets are deplorable. But at the end of the day, the Patriots are the team we have to worry about winning the East, potentially doing so, and depending on how the chips fall and the cards fall, and there's a lot of season left, and their schedule, I mean, you don't know where that's going to put the Buffalo Bills, because we'll talk about that in a second. So with this, are the Bills in trouble? Are the Bills in trouble with the fact that the Patriots are a game and a half ahead of them? They have to play the Bills one more time in New England, and they've got the easiest schedule in the NFL. It's a good question. How about the conference standings in the AFC overall after Sunday's games? The Buffalo Bills are currently in 5th place, behind the likes of I'm sorry I have to laugh. It's just, what a bizarre world we live in. 2025 is just a strange season. Just a very, very strange season. Currently, the AFC conference standings are as follows. Number 1, the Daniel Jones-led Indianapolis Colts at 6-1. Raise your hand if you saw that coming. Wow. Number 2, at 5-2, the New England Patriots. Number 3, the Denver Broncos. Number 4, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 5 at 4-2. Number 5 at 4-2, the Buffalo Bills. Number 6 at 4-3, the Los Angeles Chargers. Number 7, the what seemed to be fading Jacksonville Jaguars at 4-3. Number 8, the Kansas City Chiefs at 4-3. And that is your current playoff snapshot. Interestingly enough, those are also all of the teams with winning records in the AFC right now. But there's some teams in here that you expect or seem to be on the rise a little bit. Kansas City being one of them. Jacksonville is falling out. The Chargers are a well-coached team. Who knows what the Steelers are? Because I can't figure it out, losing to the Joe Flacco Bengals last week on Thursday. The Denver Broncos are kind of like here today, kind of like show up, then don't show up, then show up kind of team. The Colts, who knows what we're going to get with the rest of the season from the Indianapolis Colts. They're a very intriguing football team, but the Buffalo Bills are solidly sat at number 5. I would venture to guess if they lose this week to the Panthers, they're going to slide completely probably out of the top 8. Or they would be at 8. Are the Buffalo Bills in trouble? That's the question. Are the Buffalo Bills in trouble? But I think what's more concerning about this, even when you look at the teams, the young teams that are, kind of like, I don't want to say fledgling, but they're trying to find their way, right? And then the teams that are right now good, like the Colts. How many of these teams look like they're a better coached football team than the Bills so far this season from what you've watched, if you've watched any football? Now, if you haven't watched, like I sit at home like a lot of people do, and I consume as much football as I can. If it's on Sunday night, I watch it. If it's on Monday night, I watch it. If it's on Thursday night, I watch it. Today, I watched like the morning game. I watched the 1 p.m. games. I watched the 4 p.m. games. As soon as I'm done here live with you guys, I'm going to watch the Sunday night game. The Bills have looked like, and I don't want to say questionable, the coaching has been not as strong as some of the coaching I've seen in other games for some of the other teams. Surprisingly. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if I explained that well. Are the Bills in trouble? When you look at the Bills' offensive and defensive rankings, offensively speaking, Josh Allen right now is 9th in passing. I just put a tweet out not long ago that there was a time when Josh Allen was throwing piss missiles 15 to 30 yards downfield to wide open receivers. You remember those days, 2020, 21, 22, 23. But for some reason, we couldn't execute a screenplay to save our lives. That didn't mean that all we wanted from our offense was screenplays, which is effectively where we are right now. Josh Allen is 9th in passing in the NFL. But, Joe, they're a run-first team. Really? Because it seems like every second Joe Brady gets to get away from the run and start throwing screen passes again, he does it. He takes James Cook off the field or doesn't throw him the football. The second best player on your football team. Speaking of James Cook is second in rushing yards in the NFL. He just had a week off. He's second still in the NFL, only to Jonathan Taylor, who's first. Here's a fun stat. Dalton Kincaid leads the Buffalo Bills in receptions. Any guess on where he sits amongst the league? If your guess was 46th, you nailed it. Congratulations. Dalton Kincaid is 46th in receptions in the NFL. The Buffalo Bills as a team are 3rd in total yards per game. That's good. 2nd in rushing. That's good. That's why they're 3rd in total yards per game. And 4th in points per game. Those are 3 really good things. Those are things that you can point to and you say to yourself, they might not be in trouble. These look good. That's good. Oh, but the defense. Bobby Babbitt's defense. Oh, that was Joe Brady's offense, by the way. Bobby Babbitt's defense, 16th in yards per game against, 16th in yards allowed. Not great. They are, however, 3rd in passing against, probably because We have difficulty stopping the run. I just gave you a stat where the Bills are last in the NFL in tackling the running back after you touch him. Just to bring you back to that point. They're 31st in the NFL in rushing against, meaning they're the 31st second worst defense in the NFL against the run. Second only to the Miami Dolphins. That sounds like a fun stat. They are 17th in points against. They are 16th in turnover differential. The reality is, and some people have talked about it a little bit, it's a little bit of smoke that's starting to gain some more fire. We hear these things, we hear these numbers, and we immediately want to point to coaching. We immediately want to say, well, Sean McDermott needs to be fired then. Sean McDermott can't coach this offense. Sean McDermott is mishandling our quarterback. Sean McDermott is wasting the prime years of Josh Allen's career. And I will tell you this. Josh Allen has not been innocent like in what you've been watching necessarily. He's complicit, right? Even if it's he's complicit in going along. This is the game plan. We know Josh is the consummate team player. He's the consummate company man. He's the consummate face. He's humble. He's hungry. He's everything that we want in a quarterback. Bills Mafia could not handle a guy that's just screaming with ego, maniacal, just swag, and everything negative that goes along with that. Josh Allen is the perfect fit for this team and this offense and this city because of everybody that he is. But he's complicit in the fact that when things are appropriate for him to put the Superman cape on, he still acquiesces and says, you know what? I'm just going to, you've heard him say it. I run the plays that are called. Clearly, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. I was going somewhere. I was baking a cake with all that. And the cake that I was baking with all of that is specifically the defense. Those numbers scream failure, and they don't scream failure from a coaching standpoint. They scream failure from the ingredients of the cake, of which we have spent resources and money and craziness on the ingredients of a cake that isn't baking well. And that's Brandon Beane. Big baller Beane. Does anybody feel confident in Brandon Beane drafting a number one pick, like taking a number one selection at all? I don't. Keep in mind, he did not draft Josh Allen. That's not true. He drafted Josh Allen. He did not draft Tre'Davious White. So outside of Josh Allen since 2018, the second round picks he has crushed 4, 5, and 6. He has done such a good job in 4, 5, and 6, rounds 4, 5, and 6. Outside of that, it's been suspect at best. The free agent signings haven't been great. The Von Miller contract was atrocious. I know he got injured, but it was still atrocious. He was 33 years old. You gave him $120 million. 33-year-old players get injured. That's what happens. You signed him for 4 years for like 120 or 100. It was 120, right? Isn't that what the number was? Over and over again, you go back to the well of players that you deemed at one point weren't good enough to take you to the next level. And then as soon as the guys that you flopped on in the new season flopped out completely, you went back and got the guys and brought them back to the team, and you're still doing it. The only way you end up in Brandon Beane's Rolodex is if you sign with this team. And once you sign with this team, you're in the Rolodex for him to call you back and bring you back. Jordan Phillips, Jordan Poyer. There's 1,000 of them. You know what I'm talking about. Are the Bills in trouble? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. I'm asking you the question for you to determine on your own. Are the Bills in trouble? Those are the stats. I'm not telling you lies, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lack of identity on offense in this football team. Like I said before, we're a run-first football team. Meanwhile, in some of the most important moments of the game, James Cook is in on the field. Imagine the 90s Bills teams and Thurman. I know they spelled Thurman with Kenneth Davis when Thurman wanted to come out. That wasn't a coach's decision to give reps and have a snap count for Thurman Thomas. Thurman looked at the sideline, did one of these, and Kenneth Davis ran on the field, ran 2 plays, and then Thurman was right back out there. Am I saying that James Cook is Thurman Thomas? No. Maybe he's not. What if they played him all the time? Maybe he is. Maybe he's akin to. Maybe he's as good as. I don't think we necessarily know. I don't know that we've seen James Cook's ceiling yet. Josh Allen has called their performances this year piss poor. McDermott has claimed just last week that last week was too hard on the quarterback. Wait a second. You've got proverbial Clark Kent and Superman behind your offensive line. What is too hard for him? If something is too hard for Josh Allen when he has played behind offensive lines that were 50% of what this offensive line is. This is a great offensive line. He's never had the talent of James Cook behind him. He's never had a pass-catching tight end like Dalton Kincaid. His wide receivers, while suspect, can't get open. They're decent enough. No, they're not Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, right? They're not Emmanuel Sanders. Regardless of that, if it was too tough for the quarterback at times, the only place you should be pointing a finger is your offensive coordinator, because something is wrong there. Are the Bills in trouble? Any game you play, it's true. Any game you play with Josh Allen as your quarterback, you are capable of winning. He is that good, unless you coach him away from being that good. Anytime we see Josh Allen governed, which is the Josh Allen space we're living in right now, we're seeing Josh Allen governed. This is what you get. And I'm the guy 2 years ago after the home opener that I said sometimes you've got to protect Josh Allen from himself. Not home opener, season opener against the Jets, where he hurt his arm, threw the big interception at the end of the game. I can't remember how many he threw. He threw 3 interceptions in that game. He basically went super sugar high Josh, like tried to take the game over, got impatient, got bored, and just went nuts. And I came on this program, you all probably, some of you remember, and I went hard at it that like Josh is sometimes the problem and you've got to protect him from himself. The problem with that is you can't always protect him from himself. You've got to and we've heard Joe Brady say it, you've got to let Josh Allen be Josh Allen. So I would ask you, I guess this is question number 2 that I didn't think I was going to ask you because it's not in my outline. Is the real Josh Allen the guy that's throwing half of his passes behind the line of scrimmage or within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage? Or is the real Josh Allen the guy that's throwing piss missiles 15 to 25 yards downfield and running and trucking guys with his legs? Because if you're telling me that the latter is the real Josh Allen, I don't know what we're doing with the former Josh Allen. And I don't know what we're doing somehow coming onto a press conference and saying that it was too difficult for our quarterback at times. Because that's on you. Take the governor off the man. I would rather Josh Allen have 16 interceptions, the 16 interceptions, and the Bills go 14-3, than Josh Allen throw 2 interceptions and they go 10-7. Tell me you don't agree with that. You would rather go 10-7 with Josh Allen having 2 interceptions than going 14-3 with Josh Allen throwing 17 interceptions. Interceptions don't matter. Quarterbacks throw interceptions. I've been saying it for years on this channel. The first thing that my dad taught me, running backs fumble, quarterbacks throw interceptions. It is what it is. Wide receivers drop passes. Are the Bills in trouble? It's about navigating Josh Allen, understanding when to unleash him and when to contain him. That's your job as a coach, not the head coach, the offensive coordinator, but that direction, that directive needs to come from the head coach. I don't want you to contain him. I don't want you to govern him. I want you to understand how to unleash him and how to contain him when you need to. Josh Allen throwing screen passes is not overwhelming or scaring any defense. If anything, every defense in the NFL is lining up and going, thank you. Thank you for throwing screen passes, because we don't want to face that guy. We don't want that guy to go all Drake May on us. Forgive me if I'm hurting anybody's feelings. It's ridiculous that we're having conversations of how much Drake May looks like Josh Allen when Josh Allen was Josh Allen. Are the Bills in trouble? I'm almost done. There's a lack of identity on defense. What made the Bills defense last year the Bills defense were the turnovers that they got coming at the right moments, and those turnovers are not coming. Oh, that's the one thing I missed. The Bills are -1 in turnover differential this year. That was the one team stat that I missed. -1. Not great. They can't stop the run. They can't really stop the pass. The only reason that they're okay stopping the pass is because they can't stop the run. They can't tackle. They can't stay committed to their run fits. They're not sound on defense. They get beat more than they beat anybody. They can't get home. They can't sack a quarterback. They can't get the ball turned over to them like 3 and outs, and they allow teams to convert is effectively what I'm trying to say. Are the Bills in trouble? I mean, if you look at this roster, right, the Buffalo Bills roster, where's my roster? And let me tell you something. I like these guys. And some of these guys I love. I'm a Buffalo Bills season ticket holder. I'm a Bills fan. So even the guys that aren't great on this football team, I love these guys. This is my football team. But at some point in time, you've got to take the guy. I had a conversation with one of my best friends today who was in my fantasy league that showed me his bench and said, how am I supposed to win games when my bench looks like this? Because it was a bunch of hurt guys and a bunch of guys that just weren't very good. One of those players was Jackson Hawes. That is quintessential Bills Mafia. I'm like, bro, why is Jackson Hawes even on your bench? Well, if I release him, somebody's going to pick him up. Nobody's going to pick up Jackson Hawes if you release him. Cut that guy, not the Bills. Cut him from your fantasy team and go pick up a pass catcher because your wide receivers that you're starting suck on your fantasy team. All that to say, I love these players, right? I've got Bills goggles, but take the Bills goggles off for a moment. Greg Rousseau. We could probably stop right there. I like Greg. I want Greg to be great. I need Greg to play football like he's 6'8", because he is. Ed Oliver, we all love Ed Oliver. Obviously, hopefully Ed Oliver's, I don't know, I haven't heard if he made it through the last game okay. I was in Mexico not paying attention. Daquan Jones, I heard, got injured. Love Daquan. Rather see a whole lot of Deion Walker right now. Actually, I need to refresh this page. I think that's why it says Ed Walker or Ed Oliver out. Hang on a second. Yeah, now it says Daquan Jones. Sorry, Daquan Jones questionable. Joey Bosa. I love that signing. And I love the fact that he's healthy. I love the fact that he's got a motor like nobody else on this football team. But Joey, I need you to get home. I need you to do what John Fina talked about. I believe it was John Fina talked about going for the outside shoulder versus the inside shoulder and getting tangled up in the wash of the quarterback and the running back's legs. Take better lines. Get the guy to the ground. Matt Milano, always hurt. Terrell Bernard, love Terrell Bernard. Dorian Williams, I don't even understand the Dorian. Like, why? Are you in on Dorian Williams, Sean, or are you out? Like, I can't, where am I as a fan supposed to land on Dorian Williams? Because I think he's a pretty good player. Meanwhile, you constantly are like, how do you not love Tre'Davious White? Taylor Rapp has been a shell of himself. Cole Bishop still trying to figure it out. Christian Benford signs a fat contract and vanishes. And then you love Taron Johnson. Everybody loves Taron Johnson. I can't say a bad thing about Taron Johnson. The reality is Brandon Beane is going to have to be held responsible. And the funny part about even this list, right? Greg Rousseau, draft pick. Ed Oliver, draft pick. Matt Milano, draft pick. Bernard. I mean, we're playing a lot of draft picks, but they're not good enough. Like, and I don't want to feel bad for saying they're not good enough when I tell you that they can't tackle, they can't stay in their run fits, they can't get to the quarterback, they can't defend the pass. Like, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn. Like, yes, we have a whole team of starters here that are draft picks. I don't know. I feel bad all of a sudden. Are the Bills in trouble? That's the question of the day, right? I don't know. But Brandon Beane at some point in time is going to have to, he's going to have to answer the call. He's going to have to answer the bell of the draft picks that he's made, the resources he spent, the contracts that he's renewed, all the things that he's done. And this defense is not good right now. Right now. I'm not saying they're never going to be good. They're not good right now. The offensive roster, believe it or not, isn't bad. Your best two players, Josh Allen and James Cook. Your offensive line is freaking fantastic. Despite getting fooled once in a while with checks and some things that they're not, I don't even know, not prepared for. That's getting Josh Allen sacked. But my God, the wide receivers. We're halfway through the bye week, or we're halfway through the bye season. I don't even know what it's called. We're going into the next game. This is work week, right, for the Panthers game. Are they going to do something? Because this is, I mean, do they feel like they figured it out? Like, oh, we know what the problem is. Are we going to find out on Sunday that they fixed it? Because there's guys that are available. And this isn't even like rumors are out there that the Buffalo Bills are sniffing around Chris Olave. Like there's literally Diana Rossini and like people like that are leaking information that DJ Moore is available, Jalen Waddle's available, Chris Olave is available, Jacoby Myers available. There was conversation 2 weeks ago about Marvin Harrison Jr. being available. Are the Bills in trouble? I mean, are we literally one of those guys not named DJ Moore or Jacoby Myers away from opening this whole thing up again like we did last year with Amari Cooper? Why are we not going to get Amari Cooper? He's in Brandon Beane's Rolodex. We know it. That seems like a pretty sound move for something that Brandon Beane would do. Oh, you want a wide receiver? Of course, if he does any of these things, or if he goes out and gets Amari Cooper, he immediately has to admit that he's wrong to Jeremy White and Joe DiBiase, who said that the wide receiver room is a little bit of trouble there, Brandon, and Brandon took offense to it. Don't be mad at me for saying the truth. Ugh. Are the Bills in trouble? I'm wrapping up. I'm wrapping this whole thing up. Appreciate all of you hanging out with me. Appreciate you in the comment section. I've widely ignored the comment section. I don't think I've missed a super chat. If I did, I'm sorry. We don't get many of those. I appreciate, there's a slew of comments. I hope you guys are having good conversation in the comment section. I appreciate and love the community that we have here. I'd love to see this community actually transferred over to our Discord channel that's free, by the way. Appreciate all the listeners. Appreciate all the people that hang out with us here at Overreaction and have supported me and supported us for so very long. I started this in obviously 2019. This way, this is how it started. Just me. Oddly enough. I'm not saying the Buffalo Bills can't turn it around. I'm not saying they won't turn it around. I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy. My name isn't even Nancy. My aunt's name is Nancy, but I'm not Nancy. I'm not saying the Buffalo Bills that they can't turn it around. I'm not trying to bring you down. I'm trying to help you with your expectations going forward. This is beyond the Buffalo Bills needing a wide receiver one last year. There are problems. The Bills don't have a definitive punter on this football team. They're currently starting Matt Prater, a 400-year-old kicker, and Bills Mafia is excited about it because his name is not Tyler Bass. It's funny that you guys can all rally around that can we just keep Matt Prater around, but we can't align ourselves on some of the other things that are completely necessary. Last year, the Buffalo Bills lost 2 tough games in a row, albeit to probably better opponents than they've lost 2 games to this year. By the way, I researched it today. I used ChatGPT or Grok, maybe both. There's a thing out there that's floating around that Sean McDermott has never lost 3 games in a row. I've said it because I've heard it on broadcasts in different places. Completely not true. Sean McDermott has lost 3 games in a row multiple times. So he has not lost a game coming out of the bye. So we've got that going for us. But last year, the Buffalo Bills lost 2 games in a row, one of the Ravens and one of the Texans, where they looked completely beside themselves, like they didn't even belong on the football fields. 2 much better football teams than the Patriots, in my opinion, and the Atlanta Falcons. But we've been here before. This is not a new place. And a lot of people tried to remind me of that on Twitter today. Oh, you saw what we did last year. You're losing faith off early. I'm not losing faith. I'm asking the question, are the Bills in trouble? And the reality is the Buffalo Bills look to get some serious help back on defense, or not back, but at least look to get some serious help on defense between Ogunjobi returning and Hoyt. I know that Jerry Ostrowski is amazingly excited about Hoyt, the motor. And to be frank, this defense needs another motor guy like Joey Bosa. Ed Oliver has a motor at times. Daquan has vanished from this defense. Deion Walker, like I said, is maybe one of the best players on the defense, if not the best player right now. To get a guy like Michael Hoyt on this football team that's going to just relentlessly punish offensive linemen and the quarterback sounds like exactly what we need. We're going to find out because, by the way, the Panthers have a great running game between Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard. Do you remember what I told you earlier in the show about 30 minutes ago about our defense and rushing against and tackling and stuff? Well, hopefully we get Matt Milano back. And the reality is I wrote this last line. Well, the next line, not the last line. I wrote this next line before I researched the Panthers. I said, if ever there was a get-right opponent, it's the Panthers. And then I researched it because I remember they beat the Falcons, who we just lost to, got embarrassed by the Falcons. And then I found out that they were 4-3, and they're on a 3-game winning streak. And I was like, oh, all right. Okay, there's that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the bourbon is almost gone. The notes are almost ended. The Buffalo Bills travel to North Carolina this weekend. They're currently, per FanDuel, 7.5-point favorites. I think that spread is a little wide. I don't know what Dan feels about it right now. I would tell you probably take the money line. Don't take the 7.5. That number's probably going to shrink because people are going to start taking the Panthers at 7.5, plus 7.5 against this Bills team. And again, I just want you all to know that I am not saying that the Buffalo Bills are in trouble. I'm just asking you the question. I feel like they could pull it out. I feel like the Buffalo Bills, despite being a game and a half back, a little more than a quarter of the way through the season, can still win the East. I don't like the fact that the Chiefs are surging. I don't know who the Colts are. Like, literally don't know who they are. I'd like Daniel Jones. Is it really what we're talking about right now? But I feel like the Buffalo Bills can turn this around. But at the end of the day, I can't get out of my brain that there's more questions than there are answers. And by the way, last year was supposed to be the soft rebuild. Are we in year 2? Or is this year? I don't even know. Anyway, can they turn it around? Yes, they can. We will find out this coming weekend in North Carolina. Good luck to all of you that are going to Carolina, to North Carolina. I know that Poncho's Army is doing a golf tournament. There's a crap ton of events. I know that that's the game that most of Bills Mafia has decided to descend upon. I'm excited that you guys are going to go. Obviously, we want a good outcome. Get good tickets, but don't overpay. What do we got this week? Tomorrow, Monday, The Off Tackle with John Fina show. I'm sure we will break down some position, put somebody under review. Tuesday, I had somebody lined up for Tuesday, and I have to find somebody else for On the Beat. So right now it's TBD, but I will keep you posted. And then Wednesday, 7 days to Sunday with Jerry Ostrowski and Zig Fracassi. Man, I love Zig Fracassi being on this network. Like how freaking cool is it that Zig Fracassi, who's a Western New York native and has like one of the most amazing sports radio voices ever, is on the Overreaction Sports Network. It's just wickedly cool. And then obviously the walkthrough with Anthony Marino, and then don't forget Mafia Bets. By the way, Dan Frederick is crushing it. If you are a sports bettor, you need to be tuning into Mafia Bets. And if you don't believe me, watch any of the previous episodes because he is killing it. Killing it. All good stuff. I appreciate you guys hanging with me. I appreciate you being with me for the time. I love you guys so much. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate all of you. It was fun doing this by myself. Haven't done it this way. Well, I did it a couple weeks ago, and then Jerry luckily jumped in. But it's been fun hanging out with you guys. But for me, for John, for Jerry, for Zig, for Anthony, for Dan, is that everybody? Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Go Bills.